being a woman in a STEM career? Like, are there any further challenges more than normal that you have faced?
Okay, thank you. That's a really amazing question. That as a woman in an IT field, which is a male-dominated, but apparently there are many women coming up also. Yes, there are rooms I have sat in where there are all men and I'm the only one there. So as a woman, you have to prove your worth, and you have to work twice as hard to be taken seriously. So yes, that will come up, and it comes with every field. I think every woman faces it.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to our session of career conversations this November 2025. As always, today we have a guest who will highlight a very interesting sort of upcoming area as far as the career field is concerned. And actually, somehow we've managed to get a two-in-one guest today who will actually take us through, two very different but related career pathways. We have with us Rubab. If you can introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rubab Razahussein Visram. I'm from originally from Bukoba, born and brought up there, and I migrated to Dar es Salaam for my further studies. I have a background in IT. I have bachelor's in business and information technology, and a postgraduate in business intelligence.
Thank you, Rabab. And I'm Farhan Yusuf, as always, your host for the Career Conversations podcast. So, when we initially reached out to Rabab, it was actually to talk to her about cybersecurity. But in our conversations with her, we realized that, oh, she also has a very diverse background in IT. And so that's why I said we have a two-in-one guest today. So, Rabab, if you can take us through your academic journey, like how did you end up where you are today?
End up in making IT as my profession.
Yes.
Okay, honestly, computers was not even my first choice. It just was on my backup plan when I was finishing my A levels, and somehow it became the one of the things which backup plan led me to as my career path. So when I started computers, it was distance learning, and it was a program known as Bachelor's in Science in Business and Information Technology. When it first time I went to the class, there were 40 students, out of which there were only 5 girls. So I could sense there is something, what's going on. But eventually, slowly, I started to get hang of it. And it was very interesting how the computers and everything works out. The, what can I say? The curiosity got me. And that's how my career started.
Okay. And what have you done in the IT space ever since? You are telling me before we started, you have a lot of years of experience.
Yeah, so I have worked in tech space in various spots. I started as a support in software department, and then gradually went to the development part, and development and implementation. Implementation became my stronger suit because it was more on a technical skills and communication. So I really enjoyed that part, and gradually I became the manager of the whole software department, where the team was under me, and we had plenty software how can I say it? Plenty projects successfully implemented into the field, and it was quite a success as a teamwork and all these things, and the it gave me a learning curve, how to manage a team, how to uh, not technically, but also in a when you're communicating with them, taking the requirements, because now you're talking to a person when you are in that field, you're talking to a person who doesn't know IT, and you're going to you're selling a product which is completely IT related. So I was a middleman explaining to the to the layman person, this is the software which is going to help out, and here I'm talking to the programmer and my technical team. This is what is required. So I was the bridging gap between these two.
Okay. Just to recap again, I always like highlighting, some of the lessons that we learn when we are having these conversations. So, number one, I think, and we'll probably dive maybe a little bit deeper on that later on. Rabab is now in a career that's her plan B, and it wasn't her plan A. And we know, for those who are our regular listeners, we are always talking about this, right? The importance of flexibility in today's job market, and how it's probably useful for one to consider having sort of plans B's and C's, not to take away your focus from your plan A, but just to keep in mind that the job market currently is evolving very rapidly, especially so in the tech sector. I also love, Rabab's story, because it talks about women in STEM careers, so science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And I know globally there's a huge conversation around how do we get more women involved in those careers, because they are traditionally seen as careers that are for men. And so I'm glad that we can have someone like Rubab as a role model for people to, sort of look at and emulate. And thirdly, I think what she's also mentioned is that in her career, and basically in any career currently, it's not just about your technical skills, it's also about your leadership skills, it's also about your communication skills, and how you can sort of bridge the gap between a lot of different areas. And so, Rabab, currently you do something related to cybersecurity. If you can tell us what that's like.
Okay, so currently I'm at an institute where we provide cybersecurity courses. So my job is as a course coordinator. I make sure all the programs related to cybersecurity are up to date. I work hand in hand with the cybersecurity trainers, with our cybersecurity partners. Our curriculum work with a curriculum that is which can provide the niche products here related to cybersecurity. The hands-on practice are done well. So our partners like CompTI, EC Council, Cisco, all those the latest programs uh, are taken in, and our trainers are providing the training to our students. So currently, that is my role to make sure that the cybersecurity products, which are which are currently going on, the current going on trends in cybersecurity, are here, and it is being facilitated to the students.
And Rabab, can you tell us a little bit about some of these cybersecurity trends, and also how, in your experience, especially now that you are in the training space, how are like people absorbing this? We were having a conversation before the podcast started, that how, cybersecurity, like many other things in the world right now, has become a buzzword with everyone talking about it, but maybe we can remove some of that buzz by talking to you.
Cybersecurity is a trendy word, right? Everybody, once they hear about cybersecurity, they feel like, okay, I learned cybersecurity. The first thing I'll be able to crack the password, crack the email, maybe go into someone's website and try to hack that website. So cybersecurity is more about not about those things only. Okay, it's more about learning critically about the tools, how to protect your networks, how to protect yourself self in the cyber world. Currently, everything is digitalized. We are living in a world where every our all we are in cyberspace. We are there unprotected. So if you don't know how to protect yourself, how will you protect others? So cybersecurity basically to learn. You should have basic IT knowledge, networking knowledge, and you should be critically analytic, and not only about hacking. It's about protecting, more about securing. So that is more into cybersecurity. It's not only hacking.
Okay. Thank you for that. And this fascination with hacking is very interesting, because I feel like even when I was in secondary school, which is quite a few years ago now, and I had a few tech savvy friends and classmates, and one of the first things they would talk about is, I can hack, this person, and I can hack that person. And I can only imagine all these years down the line how much more some of these things have changed. And so I think it's important for people to understand what cybersecurity entails. Rubab, would you say though that it is a good and viable career option in today's time and age?
Yes, it's something which is essential part, and it is one of the things which a person can pursue. because it is one of the things which is very, very required currently. We have, the way I said, everything is in a digital place right now. So if you don't know how to protect yourself or the networks or your company, you are very vulnerable. Okay, so just an example, like we had recently, there are so many things which are going on. AWS was at went outage was there. There was Cloudflare just recently, which happened. So to know all this technology and to be able to protect yourself, it's one of the things. It's one of the good careers to look into it. It's one of the, what's the upcoming. It is here.
Okay. And I know recently, a few weeks ago, also the whole Europe, I think airport
Yes.
system being hacked, and all the flights sort of being taken down, which also, and of course, and I won't go down this pathway because I know it's a separate conversation, but just to mention that I think there's also conversation right now around how AI is also making, like, it's bringing new cybersecurity challenges, right? Because people are able to use AI to come up with new kinds of viruses and new kinds of attacks, etc. So I think that also has opened a whole other pathway. So Rubab, in for our students especially, in terms of like uh, what are the kinds of, maybe, let's start with technical, right? Like from a technical perspective, do you think that anyone can sort of get into the cybersecurity space? I know you mentioned that, you need some kind of IT knowledge, and is there anything more, like if I want to learn about cybersecurity, or even IT, like, maybe you can talk about both. What are the kinds of technical skills that young people should be thinking about?
Okay, so there is a technical perspective, and then is a person who's interested in cybersecurity.
Hmm.
Both can get into cybersecurity and evolve. So let's talk about the technical perspective first. So, technical perspective. So you have an IT background, you'll more into networking, okay, and your curiosity, actually, your curiosity, the ethical thinking, the critical thinking, analytical thinking, on how to use the tools and how to keep on trying. Uh, there is one saying which says, "Start now." The earlier the better. Okay, and you'll slowly move. The IT space is quite big. It's quite vast, and for beginner, for a technical person, so you have IT knowledge, you will build on it, and you will evolve on it. Okay, you add the value to it, and as we have discussed that, it changes rapidly. So constant learning is required, and not only learning. With IT, you have to unlearn some of the things because you have to leave the older methods, unlearn, relearn, and that is the IT world which requires. For those who are beginning in cybersecurity, who want to try out of cybersecurity, yes, anybody can take up cybersecurity. We just need basic knowledge of IT, networking skills, critical thinking, uh, uh, and curiosity. Don't give up, because one person will come and will start something. Oh, it's not happened. Give up. Let's go. Because we have a tendency, or currently we are in an era where our attention span is very limited. We try to, if it doesn't work, we give it up. With cybersecurity, you have to push forward. You have to keep on slowly pushing forward. Don't give up on yourself, and don't be harsh on yourself. It didn't work today, it might work tomorrow. Talk to your peers, talk to the cybersecurity community. Uh, Somebody, you don't have a solution, somebody sitting somewhere else will have a solution. And that's how you do it.
Okay. And you bring up a very important point, because I was recently, like engaging with some cybersecurity related posts online, and I remember reading about the fact that, cybersecurity. So first of all, even before that, I think, to your point of unlearning and then relearning, I think that's even more important, I would say, for millennials, and like me, and some of us who are older than that, because I think that's where the challenge is. Like, it's very difficult for people to unlearn and then relearn, right? Because, and I think maybe us millennials, at least, we were somehow at the advent of when all this was starting. But they are our parents, they are those people who are in their, I would say, 40s, 50s, and 60s, who still need to be a part of this world, but it becomes that much more difficult for them to sort of unlearn and learn. And I think that is something that's very important. But then also in cybersecurity, it's a team sport, right? Like everyone says, it's a team sport, that because the only way that you can counter vulnerabilities is by talking to each other. Even people who are hacked are always encouraged to report it, so that the cybersecurity, especially the defense world, sort of understands, okay, this is an attack that happened here, how do we prevent it from happening elsewhere, right? So I have read a bit.
Yeah,
Cybersecurity.
you're very correct. You're very correct. And that's how the community grows. And that's how people are able to prevent many of the attacks, to constantly be in touch with other cybersecurity community people, to know more about the threats, more about the solutions. So the way there is also there are also threats, they are noted down the threats. There's a documentation also for all the vulnerabilities and cyber threats which have already happened. There is a record of it, and people can go and refer to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds very interesting about. And I think another thing that it would be a miss if we don't talk about it in this conversation is just like general cyber hygiene, right? I think they call it cyber hygiene, which is important for all of us, right? Because again, cybersecurity technically is a field, yes, a career pathway, but it's something that affects all of us, right? And so general cyber hygiene, I think, is important. And Rubab, are there any like tips that you can give to people
Yes.
very quickly about cyber hygiene?
Your cyber hygiene is something which start with us. Just a small thing as WhatsApp, two-step authentication. Uh, don't open any link you are sent to. I believe there is something which was going on in Telegram few months ago. A message comes that I have your pictures on this one. Click, and then suddenly you are the ones who are sending. Your Telegram is sending all the Telegram users that I have your pictures. It is something, even a reliable person sends you a link. If you found it a bit fishy, just call that person. Did you send me this link? And it happened in Telegram. That link was sent to me by very close people to me. And I didn't click it because I was aware that I don't need to click it. But there was someone very close to me, and she clicked it, and suddenly I get message, and then she's getting screenshots on her WhatsApp. Hey, why are you sending me? What pictures do you have? So as simple as just reading it properly. Like, the link, you are not sure of that link, or even if somebody, even if I send you a link, but I never send links, right? So if you're not sure of that link, call that person. Like, are you the one who sent me the link? Protections, two-step authentication on WhatsApp that nobody can access or hack you. Encryption. It is automatically encrypted WhatsApp right now. So two-step authentication helps you to protect yourself, right? Email passwords, make them as strong as possible. Uh, right now, Google has spoiled us and saved all our passwords for us, but it's very, very kind of risky also. I save my passwords also, but it's kind of risky to save all the password in one place. Keep changing your passwords if possible. Use a stronger password. So there are some of the tips we can use.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Rubab. And I know, and I don't know how authentic this is, but recently, even with that, and I'm going to butcher how I pronounce it, but during the theft that happened at the Louvre
Yeah.
in France, there were a lot of memes about the fact that the password was actually Louvre, and people are like,
Oh,
how is this the password? And some very important points. I mean, two-factor authentication, not just in WhatsApp, I guess across all your platforms, especially if you are active on different social media platforms. It takes a while and it can be cumbersome, but believe me, it's less cumbersome than when you go through a hack attack. I've seen some of the people go through that and how difficult that can be. So, two-factor authentication, fix a day and like sit and, do it across all your platforms. I think it's going to be extremely helpful. The other thing is, and it's interesting, the ironic situation that we are in, and I mean that is what the hackers take advantage of, right? It's social engineering, from the way I understand it. But the idea is that we are so used to clicking on things, right? Like especially with our phone, with, as you mentioned, our lowered attention spans, it's so much more easy to just click on things, and immediately we are in a rush to see what's happening. And I'm always telling people, like, pause, like, before you do it, like, we really need to bring back the art of pausing and like thinking before we click on things. I think what I also try to do is, just as a personal principle, is on my phone, I only read emails. I don't respond to emails because, I think that also makes it then very easy for you to, and emails are also a big, area where people get hacked. I think more so even than some of these social media channels. And now, one of the things that often spoken about is that more and more with AI, they're becoming better at, like, the way they write the email addresses, the way they design the whole email, it would seem very authentic. I have seen some of those where they say that your, like your Netflix, account has not been paid for because your card is not working and they want you to click. And so, yeah, I think that's a tip that I use and hopefully is helpful for you guys. Try to not do your emails on the phone. It's difficult. We are so used to it, but again, the risk is that much more compared to the inconvenience that you think you're going to face. So, Rubab, take us through what your day is like as a professional, right? Because I find it very interesting. You are someone in IT, you are now in cybersecurity, but there's also a teaching element, right? Because you said you are dealing with curricula and all that. So, a glimpse into what your professional day looks like, and also how do you keep yourself updated with some of these trends that are going on?
Okay, so my day goes with coordination, planning, and learning process. So I coordinate with my partners, with the partner companies I work with my trainers, cybersecurity trainers, to keep up with what's going on, what they are teaching, updated curricula programs which are going on, uh, or talking to the experts in the cybersecurity world, getting them to come here for the cybersecurity conferences. We have held a couple of conferences here right now. To attend the conferences which are available coming up in Tanzania, there are a couple of we have attended so far, and there is a quite huge space of cybersecurity awareness in general in Tanzania. So, so my day is that more into coordination, planning, meeting all the trainers, meeting my partners, everything going on well, and to keep up with the trends is to keep on constantly reading, learning, in touch with the various communities.
Okay. And there are so many resources online, right? Like, for example, personally, I follow the World Economic Forum, and I know they have a lot of these, like, more conceptual discussions and theories on cybersecurity and all that. And yes, as you mentioned, I think participating events, and there's a lot that happens in Tanzania. I feel like I constantly have to emphasize to people. I meet a lot of young people who are like, but there's nothing happening here. And I'm always telling them that just shows me that you are maybe not in the right circles that you should be from a professional perspective, because we do have a lot of events, a lot of, get togethers on different areas of tech, whether it's AI, whether it's cybersecurity. Also another way to keep up is follow people on social media. We have some very key people who do a lot of conversations on, again, AI and cybersecurity, etc. So try and look for some of those people. Influencers online are not just for entertainment. There's also a lot of, like, what I like to call educational influencers, people who are having the right kinds of conversations about the field you are in. So those are also very important to follow and keep up with. So thank you for that, Rabab. Rubab, is as diverse as your journey has been, I'm sure, especially as you mentioned, being a woman and being in some of these rooms where there's very few of your, are there any particular challenges that you want to highlight, A, for being in this career generally, but then also being a woman in a STEM career? Like, are there any further challenges more than normal that you have faced?
Okay, thank you. That's a really amazing question. That as a woman in an IT field, which is a male dominated, but apparently there are many women coming up also. Uh, yes, there are rooms I have sat in where there are all men and I'm the only one there. So as a woman, you have to prove your worth, and you have to work twice as hard to be taken seriously. So yes, that will come up, and it comes with every field. I think every woman faces it. Uh, but it's to keep you if you know what you have and what you know, people will respect you and will come eventually know your worth. Another one of the challenges I faced in my career is my career is not a straight path. It's non-linear. It's not in a neat box, so it doesn't fit traditional way of like you started here, you gained this degree, and you started working. It has been constantly changing, and that change has that non-linear career has been it has opened up many things for me, uh, made me very resilient to keep on moving on. And that's one of the things I'll tell the youths that don't have a fixed mindset of if I have a degree, then I have to be in that field. Have a flexibility, have a adaptability to adapt to the new change. If I was not able to change according to the life circumstances happening, I wouldn't be here. There was also a part of when there was a point because I was in this tech world, which is development, implementation, and all. And there came a point of time where I knew there was a shift coming, where data science, analytics, AI, cybersecurity was becoming very. The world was shifting that side, and then I realized, no, how long will I keep in this part? So I had to logically plan financially and academically plan that I need to step down or I need to change my path. And that's where I took off from work and I pursued my postgraduate in business intelligence. But it was not a drastic move. And that's what I want to be very, very emphatic. You don't just like or drop off a head leap. No, it was a very planned thing for me. Where I changed. I didn't say a change. It was not a kind of a very big change. It was just a taking a break from where I was, upskill myself and move on in my career. So that was something which is non-linear completely. The other thing is the speed of change. Tech world keeps on changing very fast. Right now we are here talking and there is something happening which we don't know, we are not aware of. By the time we step out of this room, we will something has already happened. So the speed of the change is very fast. To keep up, the way I said before, you have to keep on learning, unlearning, and relearning.
Thank you, Rubab. Rubab, I realize I should have asked you this, but I didn't. So tell us a bit, or just like let us know where did you do your bachelor's with which institution, and also your postgraduate, so that our learners are also aware of what those programs were.
So I did my bachelor's in as a distance learning. It was from the NCC education at that particular time, and it was from University of Greenwich, UK. So my bachelor's was from there, and then I did my postgraduate from UCAM University, which is in Spain. It was an online program. So I did it online. So I was able to manage work and study at the same time. And for my bachelor's, when I was doing it, that also I was doing my bachelor and I was also working as a part time. So I was able, and I was luckily I got a job in IT industry. Uh, so in when I was working in that IT industry, I was able to it was a good company. It had so many departments. I was able to work in all departments. They were putting me in every department. So I got how the IT world works. Except one department they did put me at that time. They said it's too technical because I was just a beginner at that time. So that was a software department. Now that increased my curiosity and my like I want to go that. So once my graduation was done, I got a call. Hey, come, software department is open for you. So I got a chance to work in the software department, but I started at uh, a low start, which was a support, and then went to the development, analysis of the program, and then implementation. So then it became huge. So until I started managing the department at that point.
I'm so glad I asked that question because, I love the fact that both your degrees have been distance and online. And I say that because I feel like there's still when I speak to a lot of young people, I feel like there's still some hesitation around like doing distance learning and online programs, but it's nice to see a success story that has gone through that particular pathway. Not only that, I think the other thing that I find interesting as well, Rubab, is that your master's program was an online program from a university in Spain. And I say that because I also feel like when students are thinking about degrees, we have UK, US, Canada, like again, there's also a very boxed thinking in terms of where I should study. There's so many more universities out there in many European countries. Like I know a friend who was doing a very interesting degree in digital health because I'm from the health background. It was from University of Malta, like so there's so many educational institutions out there, but I feel like students and sometimes, to be honest, even like career counselors have this, they box themselves in terms of like what are the locations that we can look at, but because of that digital boom, there's so many options out there,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
How did you find your university in Spain? I'm curious now.
Okay, so actually, very interestingly, I was when I took a break from work and I was looking into my post graduation. I was looking into analytics, more into data analytics, and I came across at that particular time, I came across somebody who told me, "Okay, why don't you look into post graduation programs?" I was searching, and that person gave me, "Okay, why don't you look at this website?" And that's how I started going to the programs and all, and they were very interesting. And he started from there.
Okay. So another point, talk to people, right? Like talk as much as possible to people out there. I think the more you sort of network with people, the more you realize that there are so many, like courses, opportunities, etc. Out there. Uh, well, we spoke about challenges, but also on a good note. Like, what what do you enjoy the most about what you're doing now?
Honestly, it's something I really enjoy the new new technologies. I'm a curious person. I'm very curious about things which are going on in IT world. So that keeps me motivated to keep on learning about things. So that is that's one thing which when I wake up in the morning, when I'm there at my workplace, okay, what is something new which has happened? So first thing is to open about new trends going on. Sometimes there is no update. Sometimes there is a new update which completely new. Okay, now this has happened. Let me go into this. So another thing which I'm constantly learning, the way I said, I'm currently working learning on cloud computing, AWS. Also, I'm this all third when I get to meet my our partners in partners like EC Council, CompTI, and Cisco, they keep on updating very fast. They are so fast. So they also keep on our feet. So there are always latest things released by them. So all those webinars, I get to attend those webinars, attend those uh, Zoom meetings where latest trends are discussed, meet the experts in cybersecurity, and that's how I keep up.
Nice. I, again, to highlight that point of attending webinars, there's plenty happening right now, right? I feel like that's one of the, I can say, advantage of, what happened during COVID is that I think knowledge dissemination became a lot more by platforms like webinars. And there's a lot of, as you mentioned earlier, conferences that are fully virtual. So you don't even need to physically
Exactly.
attend them. You can attend them virtually. So ideally, as long as you have internet, you have access to so much out there. It just depends on you as a person in terms of learning. Do you
Yes.
want to add?
Yes, something interesting is that some of the things which are in cybersecurity as a beginner, you just need your phone. You just need your phone to start with. Once you are like, just a curiosity, just to start with. And there are so many accessible programs available. You can start with your phone and then build up on that.
Yeah.
So the way you said webinars are there, it's just how curious you are. How much do you want to put your time into it?
And there are so many free courses as well, right? Like I know, I think Cisco, for example, does provide some essentials of cybersecurity and
Yes.
all of that.
So
Very basic.
so I'll add to that. So we do have at our center. I'll talk more about our center later, but we do have at the centers. What we have realized that when things are free, or when things are available, we don't take them easily, or we are not serious about that, or we need some guidance, and that's what we do at our center. So Cisco, we are affiliated with Cisco, so we have the sessions. Though it's all online, but we have our trainers who would guide you through that. So and we add what we do is to make sure we add practicals, hands-on. You might not get for a beginner, hands-on is a bit more virtual. Now here we provide hands-on also. So there might be a Cisco program, Cybersecurity Essentials, the way you said. It's one of the programs we have at our center. But we provide hands-on practicals. So people get to feel how it like networking is one of the things which is there in cybersecurity essentials. They come and they know, okay, this is a switch, this is a router, how I need to connect it, how does it work? Because when you see, is you realize, oh, okay, this is what it is. So those practical skills are given there.
Th- Thank you. And I think, we are almost at the end. It's probably a good time for you to tell people more about the organization you work with.
So I work currently with Punjani Charitable Trust. Uh, Punjani Charitable Trust Tanzania, which was formed in 2023 here in Tanzania, and I have been part of it since it began. And they are into providing the latest IT education to our youths. And they have given so many scholarship already. The first year, the scholarships were given in postgraduate programs, which I was part of that scholarship program also, because as a staff, there were postgraduate given in AI, postgraduate in business intelligence, postgraduate in data science. Okay, and there were also certificates given for cybersecurity. The program lasted for a whole year. They were all fully funded by Punjani Charitable Trust. And then the next year we gave more into cybersecurity. Now we went on the path of data science and data analytics and cybersecurity, our main focus. So there are a couple of, as I said before, we have our centers here in Dar es Salaam. And for beginners, you can always come and test waters with cybersecurity. And for those who are already in IT world, and they want to add more value to their IT education, you can come and meet us and we can guide you through how to go further into cybersecurity. So these are the programs currently being held at our in Dar es Salaam by Punjani Charitable Trust, which is fully funded currently.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ranjan. When I think for me personally, so I know about the institution from before, and one of the reasons why we wanted to do this session is because we wanted to share this information because we know that, again, as we've mentioned, online with institutions like the Punjani Trust, there's just so much that you can do out there to learn and grow yourself. It's just a matter of like your intention, right? And there are people available to guide. When we release this, I hope, you look for Rubab somehow, maybe on her LinkedIn or something like that and get in touch and get that information. But you can also search, I guess, Punjani Charitable Trust Tanzania online.
Yes, yes. We are available at bct.co.tz, and we have two centers here. One is at Afet Tower, Vezanai, and other center is at Raha Towers. So most welcome to walk in and see, ask about these courses, and get to test the waters of cybersecurity for those who are beginners. For those who are in IT, of course, we can talk and we can guide you through.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Rubab. And I think to end it, any last sort of words of advice for, I would say not just like youth, but also I think, more senior people perhaps who want to upskill themselves, like any words of guidance from your work.
It's never too late to start. You can always start. Start now. That's what I can say. Especially in a world where we are living in right now, the best thing is to you are not late. You start now.
Okay. Best words to end with. Start now. Especially when we are talking about the world of tech, the sooner you start, the better.
Right.
Things are changing very rapidly, as Rubab has emphasized on. We are living in the world of, fourth and possibly even now the fifth industrial revolution with, things changing exponentially. No 2 days look the same in the tech world. And so please keep learning, keep unlearning, keep relearning, keep growing, and just start. Thank you so much, Rubab, for giving us your time.
Thank you so much, Farhan. It's been a pleasure.
And we'll see you next time on another episode of Career Conversations. Thank you.